be speaking more about this rather than me. So with this few introduction, I would like to request our speaker, uh, Mr. Lokesh BS, to start sharing his today's session.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Hope I'm audible to all of you, my good friends. Am I audible?
Sir.
Can
Yes,
you hear
sir.
me? I just want one or two yes, please.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, it's audible.
Absolutely fine. Absolutely. Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Offering my humble pranamas and the lotus feet of His Holiness Dr. Nirmalanand Swamiji, the principal, the esteemed staff, the faculty, and the governing council of ISC, and my dear, wonderful, vibrant students. It gives me an immense pleasure and a great privilege to be a part of this great learning session. Before I really dwell into my presentation of today, I just want to take you through a very small journey about entrepreneurship and innovation. Why do you want to become an entrepreneur? What are the qualities that an entrepreneur should possess? If not, how to acquire them? So, an entrepreneur definitely he stands distinctly apart from the normal people. He's not an entrepreneur by birth. He has inculcated, he has adopted, he has learned those basic qualities to be an entrepreneur. Before I pitch the right deck for you, I want to take you through a very small journey of the total economical changes the world has witnessed over a period of couple of centuries. Why I'm telling you this, my friends? You should know what is the kind of platform you are pitching upon. What is the ambience? What is the atmosphere that is blessed upon you to become an entrepreneur? See, different revolutions have ruled the world economy. The first one, the foremost and the first one, was steam engine revolution in the 18th century. That was a time when the steam engine revolution took place in order to generate power. Okay, because the source of power during that period was only the kinetic energy of water. Then they later converted that kinetic energy into electrical energy and started running steam engines. After that, there was a revolution in engineering and mass production. People started producing goods. Hope I am audible. Can you hear me? Just an yes from someone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine, fine, fine. Just in between, I will be just pinning you people. Just say yes, okay? That's fair enough. So, the next step of revolution was mass production and engineering. But today, you have to be complemented, you have to complement your knowledge with something called skills. Classroom learning is no more a priority. Distance learning has pushed classroom learning to backseat. This is what we are doing. I am maybe around 120 kilometers away from you, talking to you as if I am talking to you in person. So the same logic applies to all fields, even in business fields. Whole lot of competition. The world what we are living is something called VUCA world. Do you know what is VUCA world? We are vulnerable. Things are uncertain. The whole thing is complex and lot of ambiguity. Maybe your career, it may be personal life, irrespective of the field, we are living in an ambience which is full of ambiguity. So, in a situation like this, we have to transcend ourselves from the traditional, conventional way of doing business to a different one. So, today we will talk about that. And coming to your particular field, maybe if I can, stretch my things for a couple of sentences. Uh, India is a country most respected for its healthcare and pharmaceutical segment. Healthcare, like inventions were taking place right from 6th century BC, post Buddha period. During that period, Buddha, he renounced everything and he went because he could not see the suffering and pains of people. Because of that, he started developing some viharas. They are like hospitals, what do you call today? They were developed in 6th century BC, my dear friends. Imagine, that is the kind of contribution that our country is doing in the field of healthcare and medical advances. Later, you must have heard Dhanvantari, the patron god of Indian medicine. Later came Shushruta. So these are all, we have got a rich cultural heritage of healthcare industry. You have been blessed. You have been embedded with such beautiful heritage and culture to take things forward. In the 16th century, allopathy came into India from Britishers. So then a lot of advancements, hospitals, all those things took place. I just wanted to briefly tell you about the history of healthcare in India. Okay. Now we are most advanced country. I will give you some statistic later in the day when I really go through my presentations. So with this introduction of mine, I will take you through a very small journey about some basics of entrepreneurship and innovation. Okay. Is that clear, my dear friends? I'll start my presentation. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Can you see my first slide where it shows my name and a photograph?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Okay. So now, my name is Lokesh. Sir has introduced me. Let me not waste my time by giving my introduction. Okay, we'll straight away go to the next slide. Yes. Today, we are going to discuss about entrepreneurship and innovation. Before it's basic thing, it's a rudimentary requirement for us to know what is innovation and what is entrepreneurship. Innovation can be defined, it may be an invention, an adoption and a diffusion, an invention of new idea, a product, a service, and especially in your field, it may be a pathway of caring. My dear friends, see, you are distinctly different from other entrepreneurs. You are not only going to create wealth, but the basic thing you will be working on is creation of health. You are the custodian of social capital. The social capital is people. People are the social capital. Okay. So you are the custodians. So you have a much more responsibility when compared to the other entrepreneurs who are going to create some materialistic things, some wealth. You are in, like, with the health of the people. So that's very vital. You should be more responsible. So these are the basic things. And innovation should be, it's a new idea. Existing, it may be, adding value to the, you should complement the existing, your, like pharmacopoeia systems. What are the practices that are there in pharma? You should add value to that. Maybe come out with a novel or a new product, care pathway. Successful innovations often possess two qualities. These are very, very, very important. Any innovation should be usable. Innovation should never go waste. And it's desirable. It should be the need. So you are a social entrepreneur who are working on need base. There are two things in society. One is need base and want base. You are the people, you are the custodians of health. Health is the basic requirement of any human being. So it's very important. It's very important. You are working on a need based platform. Please bear it in mind. Because, see, basically what's happening over here, I am trying to inculcate some particular mindset that's required for an entrepreneur. So this is all about innovation, my dear friends. Okay, who is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is an individual who creates a new business enterprise, bearing most of the risk. Very, very important. Always, it's not a 9 to 6 job where you go to the office, have your lunch, discuss with your friends, spend some good time, do some work, and get back to home in the evening. No, it's not so. You're always bearing risk. So we call it as calculated risk. You can't take, the risk in such a way that you will never say no. Nevertheless, you have to take risk in business. So an entrepreneur is an innovator. He is a source of new ideas, products, services, and businesses and procedures. Procedures means your medical practices in your field. So you should come out with something new, add value to the existing, and say why an entrepreneur. We give a lot of entrepreneurs. Basic thing is, as a medical professional, when you are developing something, when you are working on a product, when you are working on a service, you have to bear three important things in your mind, my dear friends. One is, how effective is your medicine or a drug or your service, what you are offering to the, like patients, how effective. So your you should be working on making your innovation more effective. And the most important in your field is less side effects. That's very important. Suppose if you're, like administering a patient with some drugs, maybe you may cure the diseases, but there will always, especially, I don't know, because I'm not too professional in that particular domain, but still, with a basic sense, I'm telling side effects are associated with medicines and drugs. So you should work on. See, these are the basic principles. You just have it right from today. You bear these basic principles. One is how to make your medicine or drug more effective and with less side effects. And the most important one is how to make it more economical. It should be affordable. We are in a world of generic medicines now. Things have completely changed. When you manufacture a product, you cannot dictate the price, my dear friends. There is a regulation which is governing the price of medicines and the drugs in India. So you have to be you have to be more sensitive when compared to the other entrepreneurs, because you are associated with life of people. You are the custodians of social capital. Got my point? Okay. Yeah. Why? What is an importance of an entrepreneur? Why should you become an entrepreneur? So there are certain entrepreneurs provide job opportunities. That's what. With advent of information technology, artificial intelligence is ruling everything. The machines are going to snatch away all the jobs. Maybe in the next 10, 20 years, people are working to implant certain chips in human brains and control. You'll be administered, you'll be controlled by machines. See, that's how the whole technology works. But as entrepreneurs, as the next generation entrepreneurs, you should think in what way you can combat. How can you create employment in a situation like this? So providing jobs is very vital, because not only you're employing people, when you are actually, have an enterprise, have a startup, you will have vendors, you will have, generated some more other industries, maybe in a micro level, maybe in a cottage level, some of your vendors who supply materials to you. So it's a totally completely, it's you will be an epicenter of creating jobs, giving jobs, creating income. So these are all indirect ways of creating jobs. You may employ directly, but some of your vendors, you are giving job to them, you are giving business to them. So entrepreneurs increase competition and boost productivity. Very important. If there are less number of entrepreneurs, there is no competition. Whatever he says, you have to buy. It will not benefit the humankind. So it increases competition, but let's say it should be healthy. Let the competition come with a rider called healthy competition and boost productivity. Very important. Entrepreneurs create new business and new markets. People start exploring. People start exploring the needs, because customer is, at the end of the day, is vital. You have to know, it's not only his basic materialistic requirements. There are something called emotion is attached. When a patient comes to you, he comes with the whole family. Lots and lots of emotions are embedded when you are treating a patient. See, that comes in the qualities of an entrepreneur. I will take you later. So I am stressing upon this point because the magnitude with which you should have is much more when compared to other entrepreneurs. That's why. So they create new business and markets. Entrepreneurs add to national income. End of the day, you are going to pay tax to the government. So you are generating national income. Entrepreneurs introduce innovative technology. Yes, this is very important. I have been witnessing from the last 30 years, ever since I was a student, before the advent of this kind of information technology, many institutions were having a lot of PhD researchers and all. But unfortunately, those researchers were not converted into product or service. Of course, people were getting their PhDs, doctorates, everything. I'm not blaming any system here, my dear friends. But any invention, innovation, if it's not usable, if it's not converted into a product or service, it's of no good. So entrepreneurs, you may not be technically too sound. You may be having some basic idea. You will start getting, from some research people. You will start getting the technology. So technology will be used by entrepreneurs. Got my point? Yes. Types of entrepreneurs. So we have different types of entrepreneurs as such. Let's segment them into 3 or 4. It's only for you to sake of understanding. There's no hard and fast rule to classify the entrepreneurs as such. So small business entrepreneurs, these are all maybe small vendors, petty, shopkeepers, shops, and other small businesses. They do with their own family. They don't employ much people, and they don't take they don't borrow money. So with the funds, with the limited funds what they have got, they earn enough to you know like uh, take care of the family. But scalable and startup entrepreneur, this is a segment where you are looking upon. This startup entrepreneur starts a business knowing that their vision can change the world. You have a vision. You have a solution to some problem. You have a product or a service. So you want to, bring into practice. You want to start that enterprise. It's your own invention. Maybe you have worked a lot on that particular, domain, and you want to bring in some change in the society, some change in that particular domain of business. So these are scalable startup entrepreneurs. They attract investors who think and there are investors, because the whole startup ecosystem is compounded by so many stakeholders. Maybe you are an entrepreneur. There are people in the market. There are funding agencies. There are people who market, and there are regulations you are governed by. So there are so many stakeholders. They come in in contact with you. So investors, they do come, and investors, you want to take this industry and scale it up to a larger extent. So this is the attitude. Your mission, you have a goal, you have got a mission to achieve, and you have a vision with which you want to work. So this is the segment which we are looking upon. See, it's something called Startup India, Make in India. These are all the different, like platforms, portals where you can get a lot of information on these. Okay, fair enough. Next is large company entrepreneur. These, already established ones, maybe the corporate ones, they already have some established products with them. They are, like they want to diversify or expand their business. So nothing apart from that. They don't, just a sec. Okay. Hope I am audible. Again, I just want to reconfirmation from you, my dear friends. One of you, please say, can say yes.
Sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Yes. Great. Great. So most of these companies grow and sustain because any company for that matter, just bear it in mind, because looking at the context of in the present perspective, this is the mindset. You should be in a position to diversify. That's what they are doing. Large company entrepreneur, what they do? They complement their existing products. They bring in value addition and diversify in the same field. If you don't have this kind of an attitude, you cannot survive. I'll tell you, all of you, I think, directly or indirectly in touch with Amazon, if I am right. See, way back in 1994, Amazon started as an online book selling platform. They had nothing. It was only online platform where they were selling books, all varieties of books. Today, within a period of maybe 20, 25 years, maybe 30 years for that matter, you name the product, Amazon has that product. It will be delivered to your doorstep within the stipulated time frame. How is it possible? Because the entrepreneurial mind is to diversify the activity, to go way forward, add value, complement the existing system. And this is possible because of the word something called networking. Networking is very vital, one of the basic quality of an entrepreneur. Collaboration, partnering, these are the words. These are the things which are ruling the world now, ruling the business world. So networking, connectivity, this is possible Amazon because of these things, because of the technology. Social entrepreneur, this type of entrepreneur focuses on producing product and service that resolve social, cultural, and environmental needs and problems. So you are partly, maybe primarily, a social entrepreneur because working for a cause. Okay, cause is health. So no matter whatever may be your company, your basic idea is to provide good health. So you are working on social upliftment, adding value to social life of humans. Okay, your main motto will not be making money. It is doing some good work to the society. Because I need you people to inculcate these basic qualities, my dear friends, before you take up any enterprises or start a business. What is the goal? What is the cause for which you are working? Very important. So bear it in mind. Do not compare yourself with any other, maybe somebody who is, like an entrepreneur in IT industry or mechanical industry. No, you have a different role to play. That's very important. You are working on the needs of the people, as I told you. You are not going to provide any luxury. You are not going to provide any, of course, comfort. Maybe the word may differ, but basically, need. That's the need of the hour. Medicine is required for a person to survive, for a patient to survive. So, lot of importance, lot of responsibility is laid upon you people, my dear friends. Bear it in mind. So, pharmacist entrepreneur, how do you differ from other? Not much of difference, except for a couple of things. You identify, create, and pursue new opportunities. Very important, new opportunities. Opportunities will not come and knock your door. You should search for the opportunities, create an opportunity. Very important. Don't wait that something with some calling will come and take you. No, it doesn't happen. We are in a rat race. The competition is so much. It's extremely difficult. You should search, you should explore opportunities and pursue in those opportunities. And new ideas, every moment of your life, you should start thinking. You cannot restrict your thinking. You can learn from every incident, every person, every material you come across in life. This is another way. Networking, you will come to know that by networking with people. You should be resilient enough to sustain the difficulties. That is what is willing to take risks. Risk is always involved. Risk is embedded with an enterprise. And especially since I told you we are presently in a VUCA world, you never know what's going to happen. The technology with which you are working on may be knocked down by something new the very next morning. There may be change in regulations. Hope you have seen the changes that have happened over after this pandemic. After this pandemic, a whole lot of changes have taken place in society, in education, in all industries, in all areas of business. So you should be in a position to take risk and adopt to the new contingencies that do happen. That's how you combat. And probably if not for this pandemic, I don't think we wouldn't have had this much of online education. Probably I would have come there and delivered a lecture. So that's need of the hour. Necessity is the mother of invention. You should have bear it in mind, and your mind should work in that particular pattern. And you should always find out unmet and unrecognized needs. Very important. There are certain needs which are unrecognized. People are not aware. People are aware, not aware of the needs, and some, their, basic needs are not met. So you should always focus on those areas, unrecognized and unmet, and create a new value through innovation. That's what your innovation should add value. It should you cannot fancy an innovation. No, you have a product, you are manufactured at your own fancy. Do you think people will buy? No. You have to develop something what people need. You should develop a product or service which adds value to the existing one. You should be responsive to changes in healthcare. Very important. Indian healthcare industry is growing at a very vast pace. You cannot imagine introduction of health insurance, medical tourism, telemedicines, so many areas. They're blossoming up like anything. The whole world is looking at India. You know how India played a major role for this pandemic in developing this vaccine. I think you must be aware. Probably, I think your faculty and your, professors and teachers might have already, explained about what's happening in that particular area. So you should be very responsive for the healthcare markets and other aspects of pharmacy practices. Very important. There are defined set of pharmacy practices in your field. You can't override. You should be always progressive, legitimate, human centric. Whatever the new things you bring in, you cannot do anything illegitimate. You should confine to the regulations that are governing. The regulations they have to be stringent because you are associated with life of people. So be wary, be cautious when you are selecting a product or a service. You have to confine, you have to within the periphery of these parameters that are going to govern you. Yes, you have to. You should be willing to make sacrifices. There's no limit. There's no, particular set time pattern for an entrepreneur. Contingency may arise at any point of time. You should be ready. Vaidyo Narayano Harihi. That's where you healthcare people, you are nothing but, the reminiscence of God. That's what, our religion, maybe our culture says. It's very important to make sacrifices. Include social entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. So this is what means is because you are working for a social cause. Entrepreneurship is what you develop within your organization. And you have to leverage existing pharmacy knowledge, skills, and resources. There are already a set of, like things that are available to you. Maybe what you are learning, your B Pharma, M Pharma, but whatever the courses you are, like attending, there are already basic knowledge embedded to you, blessed to you. So you should make best use of those resources. What are the available resources in your institution? Maybe you have a incubation center, you have IAC councils. Be a regular part of it. It's very important, because I told you, that is the way you can, like inculcate skills, my dear friends. Passing your, maybe you have 10 subjects in a semester, or no, getting through examination is just a primary requirement. Apart from that, the knowledge, the exposure, the skills what you develop is very vital for your enterprises. That will definitely help you in your future enterprises. Goes beyond traditional roles in pharmacy practice. Traditional roles, not illegally. You always, we are all, like uh, change. A change is always needed. So you go for certain traditional changes, bring in some new practices which are more valued and more effective and more affordable. So the most important thing is you will be improving patient care. So you ultimately it is the health, it is the benefit, it's a service what you are giving to the patient is very important, my dear friend. So these are the basic things, please just bear it in mind. So the role of a pharmacist, how is a pharmacist defined, what are the roles as per the World Health Organization? You are a caregiver, very important. You should be empathetic. That means you should step into the problem of a patient and feel that. Got my point? Decision maker, very important. In any business, decision making is very vital. Taking right decision at appropriate time is what's required in any business. Communicator, the most important one. Unless you communicate, you can't do anything. How should you communicate? You should be a convincing person. You cannot dictate, you cannot demand. You should be receptible. You should accept people's grievances. You should listen to them. Know what's their problem. Because many a time, out of my experience, many people have heard saying that I'm a little scared to go to the doctor. I'm a little scared to go there. Because people want to be heard, my dear friends. People come with pains and sufferings. And the first thing what you should console them. Bring in some confidence. So these are the qualities. These are the qualities I'm talking about. The role you are going to play. And you should be a manager, an entrepreneur. Manager means you should know how to run a business. There is something called, when an enterprise comes, there are two things. One is the product development model and the business development model. The product development model corresponds to the technology, the production part of it. And the business model is, how do you bring in finance? How do you market your products? And how do you, like maybe your things of HR, how do you brand your product? So you should be a master of everything. And because you want to be a master, you have to be a lifelong learner and a teacher. You have to, suppose you are a druggist or a chemist. When a patient comes to you, give some basic education to them. You should have that. Simply he has got some prescription and he will come. No, that is not ethical. That is not professional. Rather, try to give some basic education. That means you should also be a teacher. So on your right hand side, you can see it's on one, like a triangle. This is something called Bloom taxonomy. Okay. This is how the whole entrepreneur journey of a pharmacist takes place. I'll just explain you in a few words. Remember, this is the first stage. Recall the information described within the foundational. That is what you are learning in your education now. Remember that. I know all, like things what we learn in institutions by in writing examinations, they are more volatile. I understand the difficulty, but remember, recall, recapitulate what you have learned. And next is understand and explain the role of pharmacy. Very important. You should know what is your particular role in a broader context of healthcare and delivery. Okay, and identify areas which are unmet and which are ripe for innovation. That you should always work on something new, some demands, some like needs which are not met. That's how basic quality of an entrepreneur lies. There are already 100 people in a particular domain, and if you start the same, you will be 101. There's no much market. You'll be eating somebody's bread. Instead of that, think of something where you can add value or else something new. It's always there. Any product or service gets dislodged when new thing comes. It's a rule of nature. So find out something with what you can dislodge, provided your product or service is more effective, more affordable, more durable. Okay, these are the important things. Differentiate between the strengths, very important. When you look at an enterprises, you should foresee, you should forecast what all the we call it as SWOT analysis in business. What are the weaknesses? And you have to work on converting that into an opportunity and threats. So these are all the areas which you work upon. We should survey the things before you take an enterprise. You should know what are the weaknesses of this particular business, what are the opportunities that you are blessed with, which is the particular demography you want to serve, which is the particular area of like maybe people you want to give a service or product. So, and also study about the similar proposals, similar products, how they are functioning, what is that they lack, and if you're starting the same thing, what is that you can add value to that. This is what is called healthy competition, my dear friends. So assess the benefits of risk. What are you have to evaluate always. You should find out, you should ideate and bring in some particularly zero in on some idea, validate it. You have to evaluate first and validate. That's how all idea you will convert into a concept. Once it is converted into a concept, you evaluate it, you validate it, then go for something called prototype. Prototype is nothing but scaled down version of your product. You cannot directly, you have a product, you have developed a product, you can't straight away go for commercial production. No, you have to make a small pilot of that. We call it MVP, minimum valuable product. Okay, with a minimum investment, you have to develop a prototype. That prototype should go for testing for some educational customers. The moment, suppose if you have developed a product and launched the product comes to the market. If it's not acceptable, if it doesn't serve the needs of the people, whole thing is a waste. So you should always work on a pilot plan or a prototype or a miniature of your product. So these are the different stages. We call it as Bloom taxonomy in business terms. Okay, got my point? Can I get an S from somebody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. That's great. So what are the qualities of an entrepreneur? This is very important. These are some of the basic qualities that one should possess. You can inculcate, you can practice, you can adopt. Don't think that entrepreneurs are born by birth, they are entrepreneurs. No, most of the great entrepreneurs today you are witnessing, they are school dropouts. Don't take it as an advantage. Don't do that. That means there are different set of qualities that are required apart from academics. No doubt, academics is the basic, the divine source with which you develop your business. Always, whatever you study, at some point of time, it always comes to your rescue, help, my dear friends. This is what I have experienced as a chemical engineer. Okay, always creativity. Think creatively. You should be reasoning. See, when you look at a problem, you should look at it in two different perspective. Okay, Because any product or service in enterprise or business is solution to something. Okay, that means there is a problem, we are providing solution. So when you look at something, when you look at a problem, don't just look at the problem. Look at the problem. What is the cause of the problem? Why did it arise? Why that problem popped up? What is the reason, cause? And suppose you are developing a solution to that, what are the consequences? And what are the consequences that are arising out of the problems? So when you are working on a solution, you should understand the cause of the problem and the consequences of the problem. What is the consequences that problem is creating in the society for that particular human? That's what. What is the disease? What is it causing for him? So very important to know that. That is what is called professionalism. You should be a thorough professional. You should have ethics. You should have a lot of business etiquettes. And you have to be passionate about it. You cannot take it as a fashion. It's a passion. So planning is very important. You have to be a meticulous planner. And you should always start gaining the knowledge. Very important. That's what you have, that learning mindset. You should have that learning mindset all the way. You can learn from everybody. You can learn from everything. Please develop. You have to develop that kind of attitude of knowledge development. So planning, very important. You have to plan, then only you go for the project. Open-minded, be open. You can't be a conservative person. If you are not open-minded, you cannot connect to people. If you cannot connect to people, you can't gain the knowledge. If you don't have that, connectivity, you will not be able to do the business. It's all, the complete thing is networking. It's how all the business takes place. So that is very important. Always bear a beautiful smile on your face. Do you know? You have to bridge that distance between the people. What is that? The shortest distance between two humans? That is something called smile. Okay. Cultivate that. Very important. And the most important is acceptance of failure. Very important. You have to accept the failure with grace and dignity. Because failure can teach you lots and lots of lessons. See, I'll tell you, the path of success, you cannot notice it in a winner's smile. The road to success can be identified by a loser's cry, the pain a loser undergoes. It make inroads. If you analyze that, not the smile of a winner. No. Do you know? A winner is always embedded with. He comes with a baggage called responsibility. We fail to understand. We need to understand. It's very important. Any success will give you everything, a name, fame, money, whatnot. At the same time, it comes with a baggage behind us, something called responsibility. The responsibility is social responsibility. I'm stressing upon these points because these are all the basic needs. Unless you cultivate, unless you are with this kind of attitude, you cannot be successful in a healthy business, in a business that can make difference to the people, difference to the society, and if it can add value to human life, that is very important. So these are all the basic characters you should inculcate. And how do you, basic skills, again I told you, these are the business management skills, teamwork and leadership skills, very important. You need to lead from the front. Business managing is very important. You should know about the funding, you should know about the cash flow, you should know about the projected, how do you project the profitability, what is the input, what is the output, what is that complete, like the working capital requirement, many are there. Communication and listening, very vital. You, more than you listening, you should be a good listener. Unless you listen to people grievances, you cannot really find out the best solution. And you need to develop some financial skills, very important. Managing finance is see, finance is the lifeline of any enterprises. So you should learn these basic skills. And critical thinking, very important. How do you start thinking about a problem? So there is something called design thinking. We will, because that's again entirely a different uh, mm, paradigm shift. If I'm happen to talk about that, we will see it later or in some other session. In case design thinking is the most important thing for an entrepreneur. So okay, these are all the communication, listening skills. If you are not a good listener, you cannot do business. You cannot run an enterprises, a successful enterprises. On that note, let me share you a very small story which emphasizes the importance of listening. Shall I tell you a small story? Are you with me, my friends? Anes from somebody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, great.
Yes, sir.
Once there was a salesperson. He was selling television sets to people. You know how salespeople work. First quarter, you'll have to achieve this. Second quarter, this one. Third quarter. So, target-oriented business. We are in target-oriented society. Targets have to be met, irrespective of the routes you choose. That's what the mantra now. But that doesn't give you good results. It's not a healthy way of doing business. Still, that's what's. Let me, explain to you what's in store, what is in existence now. So he was running short of his target for that particular quarter. He got down from bus. He was panic. He was going back home. He lost his way because his mind was thinking something else. Unknowingly, he entered into a village. It was this very small tribal village, maybe about 4 to. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay, so another 10 minutes I'll wind up. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you, thanks. Sir. Yeah, that is the thing. He was doing that. He came across some kind of folk tribal people, and they were they were sitting across a bonfire, and they were telling. He asked him, "What are you doing?" They were telling stories to each other. They said, "We are sharing the stories. We are telling the stories." Then he wondered, I think this is the right opportunity for me to make a good business. What he did was, he said, "Okay, I'll give you something which will tell you wonderful stories." He said, "Okay, fine. What is that?" He said, "They are television sets." And he said, "You can listen to stories, serials, news, everything. It will tell you all the different stories of from all, maybe history, maybe mythology, all that you can listen to stories." They were, yes, they said, "Fine, we'll buy all that." So he sold a lot of television sets, and he went home happily. After 3 to 4 months, he came back again, and for his greatest surprise, no one was using the television sets. They were all dumped in a corner. They were stacked, and they were biting the dust. He was annoyed, and he asked the people, "What's happening?" They said, "No. Don't they tell you stories?" He asked. He said, "Yes, they tell the stories, but they don't listen to our stories." So the synopsis of the story is, you should always listen to people carefully. It's very important. Okay, entrepreneurship. How does the whole entrepreneurship journey starts with an idea, and you start collaborating with people, in the sense different stakeholders. I told you, maybe your financier, maybe people from the market, maybe your collaboration with your team and all. So you start developing the product, and you then go for finance, and ultimately your goal. So your product is launched, your service is launched. Okay, got my point? Okay, this is a simple, entrepreneur ecosystem. How does the whole ecosystem takes place? See, there is a culture, that is what is called business culture, business etiquette, business ethics. And you are governed by something called regulations by the government, maybe drug control. There are so many with you, concerned with your, business. Okay. And social capital means where the market is your people. Human capital is people you are working with. Education and training is very vital. It should always be the continuous learning and education system. Your enterprise itself should be a learning way. It should be a learning mode. And financial capital, you are going to generate finance. So this is a complete simple ecosystem of a business enterprises. So one that we call, normally you get stimulated with an idea, and you get educated, you trained in that idea, go for an incubation center, you get incubated and start networking, and somebody will mentor you, and then you go to funding, and definitely later that these are the basic steps I'm talking about. Okay, how to develop entrepreneur skills. So how will you develop these skills? You have to be very confident and friendly and approachable consistently. Don't lose your patience. Always be approachable. If somebody asks, listen to them with the patience and try to understand. Connect with other entrepreneurs. Very important. We fail to identify the competitors and we understand they are our enemies. No, it's not so. You should develop something called healthy. Be in touch. There are so many social platforms today where you can join, learn about that particular product, because information is at your fingertips today. Make best use of it. Join communities in your industry. That's what I was talking about. So you have to join those platforms, maybe social ones, maybe your WhatsApp group, or whatever it is. So try to share your information, in the sense your thought, your insights, and also try to learn. Make a practice resilience. Very important. Don't get upset. And always, you should have some time to de-stress yourself, because the moment you come back home, relax for some time, and again you start a next day as if it's a new day. Okay, keep your learning very active. Always be attentive, be an active listener, be an active learner. Got my point? Okay. Role of institutions. What an institution can do: institutions can link curricula to real world business challenges. So a curriculum, if it's linked to some challenges, maybe a case study, take up one particular like a business case study, so that you will understand the intricacies of business. What are the problems that like that business is facing? And setting up of incubation centers and innovation, already it's there in your institution, if I'm right. Create opportunities for students to participate in social entrepreneurship contests. There's so many contests that are being happening around in different maybe in Startup India. Many government, there are plenty of schemes offered for academia, especially for institutions. You just find out those things and partner with business. Always, try to be a part of some business, maybe as a mentor, maybe, like drop in your idea to the any business close by in your close circle. Try to know what they are doing. That's how you will understand the basics. Okay. So there are people who can deliver business lectures. This is what I'm talking about in the perspective of an institution. Provide consulting service. That's very important in your own particular area, in your own particular locality. What is that business input you can give to the small business people? And maybe some voluntary organizations, get associated with them. Try to know what they are doing. You will be getting exposed yourself to that particular terrain of startups. Got my point? Help students launch their own business. Yes, you can start your own business. Maybe you have developed some product in a laboratory, on a pilot scale you can do that. So emphasize technology topics in curriculum. Very important. Always, any curriculum should be updated with the changes that's happening around in technology segment. So global exchange programs, many of the institutions, they do like global exchange with different countries. Exchange those programs. Maybe something connected with enterprises, maybe in a business oriented programs an institution can do. Okay, is that clear? So for you should you should become a leader, fostering leadership. So very important, because you should lead from the front in order to be a successful entrepreneur. So a good leader needs discipline. So these are all basic things. I don't think I need to stress upon this. Be disciplined. There are different ways of a leader, like maybe an authoritarian, maybe democratic, maybe free reign leader, and paternalistic. All these you should be, as an entrepreneur, you should be a combination, an amalgamation of all these qualities of a leader. Autocratic, maybe like in defense forces, in armed forces, that kind of things. So democratic is somewhere the whole how the way whole government works. And free reign, it's something corporates, how do they work? Paternalistic, many voluntary organizations, they care for the employees. So as an entrepreneur, you should inculcate all these qualities of 4 different types of leaders. Got my point? Okay. So let's define a leader. Very important. Please be, just give attention to this. Who is a leader? A leader must be tough enough to fight, tender enough to cry, human enough to make mistakes. We are all, people, and you can't learn unless you make mistakes, and be humble enough to admit them, strong enough to absorb the pain. You should absorb that pain. You should have that capacity. That is what is called resilient. And you should be resilient enough to bounce back and keep on moving when time demands. This is a quote by Jesse Jackson. Okay. So this is design thinking. I will just say empathize in the sense when you are working on a solution or a product or service, try to step into the shoes of your patient or your customer, your client, understand the need. You can't just listen to his need. You should feel the need. Once you start feeling the need, you will have something called problem statement. You will define, yes, this is where exactly you have to hit the nail on the head. Yes, this is the right point of pain. This is what the problem. You will like define a problem. So once you define a problem, you have defined a problem by knowing the cause of the problem and the consequences. Then start ideating for the solutions. Plenty of ideas. You pull out all the ideas, maybe your ideas, your friends' ideas, or any ideas, maybe from social media, all that you completely make a pool of those things and develop one particular idea which suits the requirements. Then go with something called prototyping. Go for a smallest version, the scaled down version of the product as a service. Let it go for testing with some of your own known, we call them as educational customers. Let it go to educational customers. And then after getting the feedback, once you get the feedback, you can amend those flaws, the shortcomings, all those things, then go. This is the systematic way of doing an enterprise. Ideathon. So you can participate in ideathon, like hackathon, and so many. There are different hackathon, appathon. People, lot of especially in boot camps and all, they do this. You have to participate in ideathon. You will understand how to generate an idea. This is a workshop-like experience for students. So what are the there? You will be explained what are the challenges. Suppose if you are working in that particular domain, a business domain, that is something you are working in a particular drug or a service, you will be made to understand the challenges. After understanding the challenges, you will be allowed to generate some ideas. Irrespective, let the idea be fancy one, crazy one, no matter what the idea is. So later comes evaluation. So idea, first you should start generating the idea. This is what is called ideathon and boot camps. Boot camps are also organized in order to give an intensive experience for you to experience different segments of business. Maybe you'll be asked to present in front of an investor. Maybe it may be an angel investor, whatever it is, maybe an funding institution. So how should you present your deck? How do you pitch the deck in front of an investor for your project? You'll be taught all these things. They are intensity bound. Within a short span, all these things will be embedded in you. It's entirely different experience altogether. Skills. You'll be learning the skills in that particular area. So they are time bound. In particular, even these programs, what are these boot camps are done for even employees also from many corporates once in a year. It's a rejuvenation program for them. They will understand what all the weakness of their employees, and impetus is given to those particular areas so that they can mend. The same way, the same logic applies to even for entrepreneurs. So all different areas of business, different stakeholders, maybe the marketing, maybe the financing, maybe the product development, all those basics are taught in boot camps. So these are the areas. Suppose even boot camps are conducted by many incubation centers and different agencies, maybe your voluntary organizations, they do conduct these boot camps. You can be a part of that to learn things. Okay, got my point? So boot camp, this is what again the same thing it says. uh, so orientation program is very important for the entrepreneurs. Okay, this is just to change the mindset. So you have already stuck to that particular mindset of your 9 to 6. Okay, I have completed my education, let me go for a job. In order to change the mindset, so all these, what about enterprise things are taught to you. You will be inspired, you will be motivated in these entrepreneurship orientation programs. Do attend. You will be developing innovative nature, proactive, very important, and risk taking. How to take risk? What is the quantum of risk that one can sustain, and how to be proactive? How to lead from the front, and how to develop that basic attitude of innovativeness. Okay. So you remember these some basic lessons of an entrepreneurship. Okay, this is a pilot project. As I was telling you, go for a small scale down version of your idea. Implement on somebody. Experiment on some people who are known to you. Stop worrying and focus on goals. Very important. Don't dig the past. No point in despairing over mistakes. Mistakes should happen and you should learn from them. Adopt to changes in the landscape, very important. Unless you have that adaptability, you should be implemented, because the moment there is a change, because you are operating in particular system, you have a product or service, suddenly some change happens, you say, "Nay," see, you become invalid, you become obsolete. At that point in time, how do you adopt yourself to the new challenges is very important. Don't be impatient. Be, traveling in that particular journey. Results will automatically follow you, my friends. Respect and admire rivals is very important. You should always respect people who have done some work already in a particular field. Respect their ideas, respect their sentiments, and try to learn. So learning is a continuous activity. It's not my way or the highway. It's very important. Whatever you know, it's not the only way, or what is existing is not the way. There will always be changes in every aspect, not only in technology, in terms of operation, in terms of business acumen, in terms of marketing, there will be changes. So accept the changes. It's not what you know, but it's who you know. Very important. Even though you are a complete, you are in an ocean of knowledge, will not help you, but you should know people. Very important. It's not what you know, but it's who you know is very important, my dear friends. So go to Startup India. It's a wonderful, like portal where you can. It's a self-navigating system. It has simplified and hand holding. They have reduced the compliance, regulations are reduced, and there's a lot of emphasis given for academia, institution, and industry. So they in fact collaborate. They act as a bridge, Startup India, in order to get funds. Lots and lots of like schemes are there. The funds of funds, something like that. Credit guarantee schemes are there. Tax exemption, you are given whole lot of things. It's again entirely different topic altogether. So I would request you to visit Startup India, know what's happening. It's like another institution for you, my dear friends. You have a lot of activities, learning activities over there. You can learn, you can collaborate, you can associate it with all the stakeholders of a startup. Okay, got my point. See, before I really, I'll wind up in the next couple of minutes. I want you to know the Indian pharma industry at a glance. India is the largest provider of generic drugs globally. It's very important. Indian pharmaceutical sector supplies over 50% of global demand for various vaccines, okay, and 40% of generic demand in the US, and 25% of medicines in the UK. In terms of volume, India ranks third in the world in the production of pharmaceuticals by volume. So just imagine the potential. Okay. Economic Survey 2020 acclaimed pharma sectors as one of the top 5 sector which reduced trade deficit in India. Very important. See, totally there are around network of 3,000 drug companies and around 11,000 or more than that manufacturing units. For 80% of the antiretroviral drugs used globally to combat AIDS are supplied by Indian pharmaceutical firms. India's biotechnology, very important. See, biotechnology is, like growing at a very high pace, which is a part of you, I think, if I'm right. Biotechnology industry was valued at 64 billion US dollars, and it is expected to grow by three folds by 2025. So Indian medical, biomedical engineering, very important. The manufacturing of medical equipments, it's going at a very high pace. The market is expected to increase at a rate of 37% from 2020 to 2025 to reach $50 billion. See, this is only to like give a sense of the potential that Indian pharma or healthcare industry has. Okay, and these are the opportunities. The human resource is there, and market size, economic drivers like insurance has really like opened up, and it's giving a lot of pathways for like manufacturing as well as services. Medical insurance and medical tourism is there, and now there is something called Ayushman Bharat. I think that is the largest healthcare program that is by a government of any government of the world. So these are all some of the basic things that provide you a huge potential, huge platform to think something in your domain, my dear friends. Okay, these are the challenges. Okay, let's not worry about those challenges. They're always there in any business. So this is my like my simple humble knowledge sharing session with you. I am running an academy called Agastya Academy, where I do conduct such trainings. Atharva, I work on bioenergy, and I work with rural upliftment, and especially in some rural areas where we can create some micro and small enterprises. Okay, now Just a minute. I'll stop my presentation. I think, sir. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. It's audible.
Can we go for a small Q&A session, or else if somebody wants to share some of their ideas, I'm happy to listen to those. Hope
Yes,
I think I wish I had some more time. Not an issue. Nevertheless, I have made some basic
Sir, you
things
have.
clear to students, sir. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The students
Actually,
can ask
now,
questions.
sir, sir
Please, sir,
has
please.
shared his views about pharma sector
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and its importance in the world, and
Yes, sir.
how we can make some business with the pharma sector.
Absolutely, sir.
It's not going to be only sticking to India,
Yeah.
maybe worldwide.
Absolutely.
So with these
sir,
comments,
absolutely.
I would like to ask students, if you have any questions over this, you can ask, please. Yeah. Manasvi, please.
Go ahead.
Pass it there.
How risk becoming an entrepreneur when compared with highly paid job?
Okay, this is a wonderful question. This is, what making a buzz around. See, the end of the day, when you are working for somebody, not that I am not asking you not to work for somebody, the kind of risk that you're going to take when you're working somebody pays your employer. But whereas as an entrepreneur, the kind of risk you take pays you and the society. It's very simple. Okay. Maybe you are rewarded with a higher salary. I'm not denying that. But at some point in time, all the benefits, all the even hard work, not that you should not do. That's how companies grow. But you, as an entrepreneur, when you take risk, that rewards you. You will be enjoying the most of the benefits. But whereas there, when you're taking a risk, I'm not going to a detailed type of risk. Risk is involved everywhere. I know when you are working for somebody target oriented, they don't mind, they want you to fulfill the targets. So there you are supposed to work. Maybe you will get an increment, maybe like a promotion, something like that. End of the day, you are indirectly serving the society. I'm not denying that. But an enterprise's risk pays you more, whereas the risk what you take when you are working for somebody pays your employer. Hope I've made this point clear. Is it clear? You have an extension of the same? Any question about it? What's your good name?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next question, please.
Sahana.
What's Ahana, is it?
So to what
Yeah.
Sir has said, I would like to add one more
Please,
point.
sir. Please, sir.
If you
So the
take
back is
risk
in-
one or the other day, you may be in a position to give a job which is highly paid.
Very much, sir. Very
Okay,
much.
yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Very
Next.
much true.
Sir, my name is Prasad. What are
Yes.
challenges to overcome the beginning of journey?
See, I'll tell you, for that matter, it's a simple preparation. Preparation of any journey, of course, any journey has got its own ifs and buts, ups and downs, all there. In any, for that matter, any, suppose if you're going for a highly paid job, definitely you will have more stress, more targets. In the same fashion, even any startup journey has got its own, problems. Many contingencies may arise. So the basically what thing is required is an open mindset. Okay, you have to practice that mindset. That means, see, you have always, that's a mission is very important in your thing. See, any business enterprise should have a mission. So where you are contributing to the society, my dear friend, when you are contributing to somebody, that is the greatest happiness that you can derive. I'll tell you, over a period of time, you'll experience that. When people, when whom you are going to help, when they say, we really got this help from you, we are, grateful to you, those kind of gratification and those words will, give such confidence in you. So that's why basic thing is develop a mindset, develop a basic positive mindset. Positive mindset is what? Suppose a problem comes. Suppose I will tell you, I will give a glass of water which is off filled. What do you say? Either you can say it's off full or off empty. So always develop a mindset of saying it's off full. Okay. This answers to all of this is the kind of attitude. This is the basic mindset you should develop. Be in a positive frame of mind. Okay. Be an optimistic. Be a patient person. Plenty of qualities. They each one of them will complement the other. Okay. And of course, automatically see in a journey like this, you should not be scared of taking risks. You should enjoy risks. Those particular risks will teach you a lot because I have experienced. Because I have been an entrepreneur for the last 30 years. The days, my experiences with people, with institutions, they're so immense. They have taught me everything in life. So maybe in an enterprise, when you're running a business, you may lose, you may gain, all that fine, but you will gain such a tremendous knowledge. Today, I'm able to share my experience with you. If my knowledge can motivate one or two, I'm blessed. Okay. So always be passionate about what you do and have an optimistic mindset. Things will fall in line. Got my point? Is it clear, Mr.
Good
Prasad? Is it?
morning, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. Go
Good
ahead.
morning, sir.
Good morning. Your good
Myself,
name?
Pallavi. Have one question.
Please.
Pallavi.
Pallavi. Tell me, Pallavi.
My question is about how students can manage both academics and entrepreneurship activities.
Okay. It's a great question. It's a great question. It's a healthy question. It's the most relevant question. Okay. There was a time when academics was separated from entrepreneurship. Institutions had no contact with industry. Today, we have an ecosystem where industries are participating along with institutions. Maybe the kind of what we are doing is a participation of industry and the government. So you just make a part of that. Okay. You don't differentiate. Always when you studying a subject, maybe your biochemistry, maybe your pathology, maybe anatomy, always have that entrepreneurial mindset which should peep into your academics. Don't differentiate. You don't have to go an extra, entirely exclusive training, nothing of that sort. You can, combine the two. You have to combine the two. That's how the whole system is working. The government is working. The institutions are working. It's more than academics. So practical exposure and maybe your seminars, maybe the workshops, all these are to inculcate those qualities in you. So you don't need to differentiate. Start breathing that. You may not write the examination for that, but when you're writing the examination, you are stressed, you have got tension, you will be in ambiguity. But learning for knowledge, you don't have anything. You can learn with pleasure. Take it that way. Is that clear, Pallavi?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, that's what. You just make a part of your curriculum. Okay. It's one embedded in your system, in the education system. See, end of the day, see, even when you today's, the world is so competitive, when you go to an interview also, they don't ask much of your academics. What is that other, qualities? Entrepreneurship qualities are a must for you to work now. They ask, what are the qualities? What are the qualities as a leader? Because when you're working as a manager, you need to have the leadership qualities. Academics, it's a score, having scored 98 out of 100 doesn't. No, it's a base. I'm not denying that. But in addition to that, what you develop is entrepreneurial skills. Entrepreneurial skills involve even, like some of those interpersonal skills. So when you start working, you need interpersonal skills to interact with colleagues, with your managers. And when you become a manager, you need these leadership qualities to inspire, to motivate. So entrepreneurship is a part of your education system. It's within you. Maybe you are not writing examinations for that. Be an entrepreneur. You write your exams with the entrepreneur mindset, you will do wonders. I promise you. Yes, anything else?
Good morning, sir. I'm Ranjita.
Ah.
Thank you for giving this wonderful session, sir.
question
That's
which
good.
I have is why is it that the average life of startup is just 2 to 4 years?
Okay, very simple, very simple. Because of the fact, one is the unpreparedness to face the challenges. Okay, unprepared, you are not made your homework. Because see, when you are making a project, you should always make a roadmap for the next 10 years. You should forecast. You should analyze. You should have that vision what's going to happen. And you should always have some plan B with you to face the challenges. Contingencies do happen. Because I told you, we are living in a VUCA world, uncertain. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. When you're starting a business, you should have a plan B to execute, to take your business forward. That is what is called diversification and complementing. Okay, very important. Don't stick to anything, because no product, because no product has got a, no, business has got a long shelf life. It will have shelf life provided you diversify, you complement with additional things. So one is preparedness for the contingencies to face the challenges. Anything become obsolete. Anything become obsolete over a period of time. That is the law of the nature. That is the rule of the nature. And the second one is because of advancement of in technology. Technology is growing in such a pace. I have been a victim of this technology. I have suffered huge setbacks in my business because I was not prepared enough to face those challenges, to combat those changes. So have that plan prepared for you. You visualize what's going to happen in your particular domain, particular way of business in the next 10 years. Okay, you have that vision, then only you'll be make, I told you, have an alternative plan. It is an alternative plan, not to completely decimate the existing system. How can you add value? How can you slowly diversify? So have that mindset. Preparedness is very, 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 very important. Don't jump into an enterprises. Go to incubation centers, get trained, get mentored. And always, I would advise, go from a very small way. All big things, the beginning of all great things, big things, is always small, isn't it? Infosys was started in a room of 10 by 10 by Mr. Murthy. Today, what's Infosys? Imagine big things, but let the beginning be very small. Okay, got my point. Pallav, is it?
Ranjita, sir. Yes, sir. I
Ranjit,
got the
I'm sorry.
point.
Okay. Thank you so much for this wonderful question, Pallav.
Thank you, sir.
Ranjita. Okay, next question, please. And some of you share your experience if you have any. Don't hesitate. I'm not
My
here.
name is Aishwarya.
Yes, Aishwarya. Good morning.
Can all the innovations be commercialized?
Oh, this is a question. This is $1 million question. You people should answer. Okay. You people, when you develop that mindset, if all people who are studying, if they can become entrepreneurs, all technologies can be utilized. Got my point? So what I mean to say is, see, when there is a more number of entrepreneurs, that's what end of the day, that should be the goal. All technologies, because any technology that is being worked upon has taken tremendous efforts from people, from scientists, from researchers, maybe some of the faculties, what they are doing research in your institutions, maybe pharma students, what you are doing, maybe see, it will not just suffice it to just to take a degree. No. Yes, it's a very good question. And when you have that mindset, I'm sure that you are going to use technology effectively. Okay. It depends on you people. If suppose there are 100 sitting here, if 80 or 90 of you come forward to start up an enterprises, technology will be utilized. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please go ahead. I love to listen to your ideas and questions.
Any more questions? Any more questions from audience? Okay. Anyone from audience, if you are ready to give some feedback about this session,
Yes,
it's welcome.
Please.
Anyone?
That's a tonic for me so that I can mend my ways and, like correct
So we
my
are not
flaws.
expecting minutes together, just 30 to 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Not a very lengthy speech.
It should,
Someone?
let it be a critique also, not an issue. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
First of all, I would like to thank you. Actually, we had a very nice session. It was very informative. We will try to incorporate this in our ideas. Thank you so much, sir.
Great. I'm blessed. Thank you. I'm truly honored with your wonderful comment. Thank you so much.
Any other? Hope no one are there. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir,
Thank
I'll
you for
just take
the
1
session.
minute if you can permit me before I.
Yes, please, sir. Please go ahead.
So my
Yes.
dear friends, I want to share a very small story with you. It doesn't take much time because all of us we are longing for success. Because you are doing education, you are going to job to be successful. You want to start up something and succeed in that. So what is this success is all about, which we are longing upon? How do you really define this success? How to achieve this success? There's a story about this success. There was one great scholar who like taught about his Socrates. There was a student, there was a person like you who was unsuccessful in life. He had failed in so many attempts. He could not achieve anything. He was a bit panic. He was not knowing what is that mode, what is that method I should adapt to succeed in life. One gentleman was passing by. He saw this boy so panicky, so stressed out. He asked him, "What's happening to you? What's wrong with you? What's your problem?" He said, "See, gentlemen, I'm not been able to be successful either in personal or professional life. I just want to know how to be successful in life." He said, "No, I'm not that a great person. I will guide you to Socrates." Socrates is a great Greek philosopher, you must be knowing. He will guide you the right way how to be successful in life. Okay, he somehow he got the solution. He went to Socrates. He was meeting with his disciples, having some meeting and all. And when he said, "What's that you want, my young friend?" He asked, "Sir, I want to know how to be successful in life." "You want to be successful in life? Come tomorrow." He got again depressed. He said, "Why to tell that secret? Why is he asking me to come tomorrow?" Nevertheless, okay, next morning he got up and went to Socrates. Socrates came out of his house and took along with him. They were walking along. He was puzzled. Why he is not telling me the right secret to success? What is that he is hiding? So as they were passing, they entered, they were passing by the side of a river. As they were passing the side of a river, Socrates hold this boy's hand and took him inside the water. They started going deep into the water. Once the water came to the neck level, what Socrates did, he held his neck and dumped him deep inside the water. This boy struggled like anything. He was almost breathless. And somehow when he realized, Socrates realized the intensity, he pulled him out. And he asked him, "When you were deep inside the water, what is that you wanted most?" He said, "I wanted air to breathe." So this is the solution for success. So success is not something which will drop from the heaven. Success should be a part of your life. It means that you don't have to like think of success. Make a part of it. Make that journey. You travel in that particular path. Success is nothing but a progressive realization of a goal. That goal should be a legitimate, a rational, and human centric. So with these few words of mine, I thank you for this wonderful opportunity with to interact and share my humble knowledge with all of you, and looking forward to have more such sessions with you. Thank you so much. I thank the management, especially I thank Nok Prashant sir, who was instrumental in arranging this meeting, and you, my dear young friends, all the best. May God bless you in every walk of life. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hope students got a good knowledge about what is entrepreneurship and how to process ahead. And I think our students can start their journey
Sure,
at least
sure, sir. I'm there to help you.
towards their entrepreneurship. Yes, and we will be here for guiding them. Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Thank you, sir.
being
Thank you,
with
sir.
us today.
Okay,
Thank you.
sir. I'll take leave of you. May God bless you one and all. Thank you so much. Bye.
How was the session, students?